We're promoting a lot of healthy conversations, especially with the topics we've been dealing with this season.
It's a good representation of what a lot of teenagers are going through in America.
Will we just sit here and we just accept that this is the country that we live in?
It's always been this country, Liv. And what we do is hold our heads high regardless, because our work don't come from them.
They always approach it with love and like with a stance of solidarity, and just always an openness for dialogue and an openness to say that I see you and I feel you.
Our show does a perfect job at, just bringing up conversations that people are very honestly scared to have when it comes to racism, when it comes to substance abuse. And just because we don't talk about them doesn't mean they're not happening.
Why won't you guys just trust me?
Trust? What are you talking about, trust? You lied to us for months.
Okay.
You might feel uncomfortable, but that's the point, because these are uncomfortable conversations that need to be had. I do believe that a tremendous amount of people watching the show in the world can relate to a lot of our characters.
How's that going? Your mom and the whole almost stepdad situation.
She wants me to have dinner with him. And after that, maybe we'll play catch.
There's a lot of different representation on the show, and I think that that's important.
The age, the sex, the color, the sexual orientation, we are all going to experience a lot of the same things when it comes to discovering who we truly are.
There's not one kind of Black person. There's not one kind of woman, not one kind of man. We all have stories. We all have experiences and things that have shaped who we are.
The doctor told me he doesn't think I'll be able to play football again this year. There goes my entire future.
Everybody has a hard time identifying. You can be a biracial child that was raised with white parents and not consider yourself a Black man or a Black girl.
I've gotten messages before from mixed teens, because I myself am mixed, Black and white, and they say, you going through the stuff that you did with Billy and Laura and Daniel and feeling neglected, and I felt those things, and you were able to, pull me out of my funk and make me realize that, I gotta be my own person. And that's beautiful to me.
In terms of the LGBTQ, you may have not known what it's like to just live, to just be you. And I know that they're able to look at Coop and say, wow, she's just a girl. She's just a girl, and she has emotions and feelings like everyone else. She does things that a normal person would, and I think in looking at our cast and seeing us on screen, it makes no difference. I'm officially quitting everything that's holding me back.
I think it's amazing that we can have a predominantly Black cast who can cover all of these bases and make these groups seen who don't normally get seen.
For anybody watching the show, you want to be able to relate to your audience, and so we draw on a lot of different people, and I think that that's such a beautiful thing.
It's important to be able to be seen and to feel seen, especially in such big spaces like TV and film and media.
If we don't stand up for Tamika, for George, for Brianna, for Elijah, for ourselves, if we don't do that, then when's it gonna stop? The power lies within us now.
Politically and socially, what's been going on, it's important to bring and shed light on that.
I think our implementation of Black Lives Matter, it had to happen. It was a way overdue conversation.
Senior year, it's time to make a statement. Right out of the gate, we just had that mural. I remember when the first day I stepped on set and I saw that, I was like, wow, that is so cool.
I think it just felt like the most obvious approach, given our show has always tried to keep a very foot in what's going on in the real world.
For people of color who have been victims to any abuse or just anything by law enforcement.
Mom, there's a cop following me, but I didn't do anything wrong. I think he's pulling me over.
Okay, pull over somewhere you aren't alone.
And I think that for the younger generation to actually see this, it was like, okay, this is not a joke. This is not a joke, it's a real thing.
We're able to do it in an organic way so that you don't feel as if the show is shoving it down your throat.
How could we not have it permeate the show? We didn't want it to overwhelm the show. We didn't want it to take over, but it felt right and sensible and honest to be able to have it woven into the tapestry of the show and of the storyline.
Boy, she put your life at risk by asking you, my son, a Black man, to lie to a police officer.
I think the coolest part was seeing so many different walks of life approaching us, whether it is in person or through social media, and saying, hey, that was really powerful to see. And I learned a lot from that. And now I'm unlearning and relearning things on my own. Even before last year with George Floyd, people weren't aware of what was going on.
It's heavy to see but it's necessary to talk about these things. It's not the only thing, but it's very prevalent, especially in our Black and brown communities.
That's what Tamika deserved. A world that loved her as beautiful and as Black as she was. So for us to stamp that and just support that, I mean, it was a given. We're a predominantly Black cast.
I'm thankful to our writers and our showrunner for continuing to amplify those voices and let that dialogue continue on, because it's important, and I think people are taking away a lot from it. And the conversation should never stop.
In this family, we don't hide from conflict. We face it, own our part, and make it better.
Everyone comes to the show for different reasons, and everyone loves the show for different reasons. You know, if you're a student athlete, you're gonna respond to when we're on the football field. Some people, they're here for the love and the love triangles and the messiness in the relationships. Some people also love the fact that we haven't shied away from the social justice thing.
The concussion storyline for me was big, because I had a lot of kids reach out to me through DM, through email, and just say, yo, you know, I've done exactly what Jordan has done. You know, cheated the system, tried to do loopholes and get back out there on the field, because I simply wanted to play because I needed a scholarship.
My character giving up her child for adoption, but she didn't necessarily give up her child. She maintained a relationship with the family, and things like that do happen. It may not always be discussed or shown on television, but I can't tell you how many messages or DMs I've received from people who watch the show, from mothers and children who have said, you know, I was in this situation or I was adopted, and I just thought that the storyline was beautiful.
That's where my son lives. Jordan, how do I know he's happy?
I related to my character in the sense that she had this podcast and she was like, I'm gonna be unapologetically out there because this needs to be, and I'm not afraid to speak up.
Policing in this country evolved from slave patrols. It never was, and it never will be neutral.
And so carrying that throughout the season has just been, I think, really important to all of us, and especially important to our viewers, to show what we stand for.
Hopefully by the end of the season, everyone feels that what they're watching the show for has been served.
You know, sometimes it feels like there's so much bad in the world, you forget to celebrate the good.
I'm really grateful to just be a part of that larger conversation and to be able to tell those stories on TV, and I wouldn't have wanted to do it with any other cast on any other show.
So the fact that we were able to rise above and produce what I believe is our best season yet is probably the thing I'm most proud of.
All of y'all are best when you're having fun, so let's have fun out there, boys.
This is probably one of the worst years for us all, but I think everyone gave undoubtedly their best work this season. People usually fold under pressure, and there was so much against us this season. I'm really happy and I'm proud that we all stepped up to the plate and put our emotions to the side and we did it.
I'm grateful for just everyone being on one accord and really just, you know, sticking to it, getting it done. And we're done.